Brenda Fillers here at createwithbrenda.com. No dot com, sorry, Brenda Fillers. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located here in north central Minnesota, and I have got another layout for you. So it's just, I guess it is 9:01. I'm just wanting to make sure that I'm on, so give me just a second here, and then we'll just get started. We've got a great project for you today. It looks like everything's working, so that's good. Got to get some light on the subject. It looks like I'm sitting in the dark. I'm really not. So look at this fine mess I have over here on my counter. Um, yeah, so great idea for a card today. Good morning, Nancy. It was a technique that I learned in a virtual class that I was in a couple weeks ago, and didn't turn out so well. So then I was kind of scrambling for something else to do. But I'm pretty excited about the card I have, and I will flip down to my workstation and we'll get started. Good morning, Candy. All right, workstation. Here we go. Coffee. Yay. You guys, check this out. I know you're going to think I'm a little crazy, but remember last week when I talked to you about this beautiful suite of products from the mini catalog, the September to December 2024. And it was on pages 30 and 31 is the main layout. Yep. And then I had showed these to you and we made a card last week with it. But I used the Birch Wood 3D embossing folder. This week, I'm changing it up and we are going to use this gorgeous Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. And we're going to do something a little bit different with it. Then the other thing I wanted to show you is, so you know how there's this sheet of paper that fits the dies from the set, fits the, let me come here so you can see. And we did this last week, but these dies actually fit and cut out these two styles of birds, right? So we did that. Well, then you have another sheet of paper, and I may have cut it all up, but I'll look and see. We have another sheet of paper. See if I can cut them all. That looks like, open this pack. I love this paper so much. I bought 2 packs of it. But you have another sheet of paper that looks like this. And the dies do not fit these birds. So last week during the football game, I sat and fussy cut out all the birds on the 2 sheets of paper. And look at this whole pile of birds that I got from 2 sheets of paper. I'm so excited because I love these, and I think they're going to make great birthday cards. They're going to make great Christmas cards, and they're going to make, I believe, good sympathy cards. So let me show you what we're doing today, and it's going to be a little bouncy because, like I said, I struggled a bit to get um, things just like I wanted them. So I'll show you what I have so far. And what I have is a piece of blueberry bushel. I hardly ever use blueberry bushel. It just seems like way too blue for me. I have a standard card base, 5.5 by 8.5, board at 4 1/4. I have another piece of basic white that measures 4 1/4 by 5.5. And we're going to use this to emboss, and then we'll be cutting it down, but I wanted to have the full piece for embossing. We're going to be using this little bluebird and bluebird. I'm not sure what it is. I thought it looked like a bluebird, but I guess I really don't know that bluebirds have an orange belly like that. If somebody does, please say. I know, Mary Man, like watch out for those birds. I know, I know. I'm kind of surprised myself that I like them as much as I do. Good morning, Donna. Yes, it was good to see a little bit of rain this morning. Seriously, there are parts of my yard that look like a small earthquake. Like the dirt has really just literally cracked. It's so dry. There. That was good. All right. So here we go. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I am going to run it through this giant Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. And is what I want to do first, before I do any of that, is I'm going to bring in, I have this little embossing kit that I keep together. And I first of all am going to rub my cardstock with the embossing buddy. It just has powder in it, and it takes the static off from our paper. And now there's two sides, so I don't want to ink up the Stampin' Up side. I'm going to ink up the other side. So I'm just going to take my Versamark pad, and I'm going to put it right here on my embossing folder. I'm going to lay my cardstock, embossing buddy side down. And I'm just going to try to just gently move it so that I can get it as straight as I possibly can on the plaid. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in, I call it the boss. You'll hear other people call it the boss also. My standard size Stampin' Cut and Emboss. I need my platform 1, and I need the 3D embossing folder plate, which is plate number 4. So all I'm going to do now is put my embossing folder edge, the hinge edge first. And these are the oversized embossing folders, you guys. They're huge. They measure 6 by 8.5. So depending upon what you're doing, you could actually do 2 card bases in one pass with your machine. All right. So I ran that through, and then while I have that here, I'm just going to lift this off, and I'm going to set it to the side for just a quick second. I want to take another piece of basic white that measures 5.5 by 4. I want it to measure 5.25 by 4. And I'm going to run that through as well. So there's that. Do I have you puzzled? Like, why am I running all of these through? This one I'm going to set to the side as well, and then we'll just move this out of the way. I'm going to bring in my embossing tray, and I'm going to bring in the piece that we embossed. I'm going to hold it with my reverse tweezer. I'm going to set it right in here, and I'm going to take my silver embossing powder, and I'm just going to dump onto my cardstock. Making scoop. kind of shuffle around and get all the edges for. So you know last week how we used the specialty paper that had the gold plaid? Well, when I was looking at these birds as I was cutting them out, I thought, gosh, those would be so pretty with um, silver as well. So I got out this Forever Plaid with my embossing powders, and I want to show you something since we're done with the silver. So you saw me open this up and pour it in, right? Right. So now this little tray has a screw off end, and I can simply tip it up and then tap and just tilt, and it pours it all right back into my little container. How slick is that, right? And then I'll just put the cover on so that next time I emboss, it's just ready to go. All right, so there. That's a whole little kit that you can purchase. Now, I'm going to move off to the side. I've got a heat gun. It is not my Stampin' Up heat gun. My sister has mine. And I'm just going to heat this up. And if you've never used embossing powders before, it's amazing. You do want to be sure to keep moving it around as not to burn your paper. And then, of course, the silver embossing powder has the metallics in the powder. And so you want to be careful that you can over emboss and actually the silver metallic will burn and you won't get the shiny. You'll just have kind of a burned look on your paper, which it could be okay if that's what you're going for, but we'll see. Okay, we're almost done, but I wanted you to see this process because I do think that this really does make it for a beautiful background, and you'll see it here on the card as we get going. All right, I think that looks like it's done. Maybe a little bit more up here where it was thicker. But I think this is a really cool look, and I'm okay that it's darker in the center. That happened, even though I used the embossing buddy, that happened on the first one I did, the second one I did, and now the third one. So I guess it's just meant to be that way in the folder. All right, we can be done with that noisy little machine. And I'm just going to let this cool off for just a second. I want to take a paper towel. I can feel that I've got some, yes, bluebirds have a reddish flush. Thank you, Mary. I've seen bluebirds, but I guess I've never paid attention or that closely. Or maybe it's only the males that have a reddish breast, and I've only seen females in the houses. I don't know. All right, there. We got rid of the powder, and we've got our piece that we embossed. I also want to grab my mini cut and emboss. And is what we're going to do. I guess I was a little quick in moving and cleaning up my embossing powders, but I wanted to be sure to show you that little tray that's just handy dandy. So what I have now is from the die set, there were these little evergreen branches, and I have a piece of just scrap of Lost Lagoon and a scrap of oh, pretty peacock. So is what I want to do is I'm going to die cut. I love when they give us two, right? Because then you can cut up two at a time. I'm just going to put these on, die cut. And while you are on here, and I will also send, so we don't need to tap off the excess powder. No, you don't have to if you don't want to. I mean, you can. It was kind of a big piece of cardstock, Mary, to have in the tray. So the little bit of tapping, I guess I did do. I guess I can't do this and talk at the same time. The little bit of tapping off I did do is why it sent the powder reeling on onto my glass mat. Did you know that these big glass mats are for sale now? You can go out to the online exclusive. So if you've been thinking about getting one, I really do love mine. The only thing that I think that could have been better is if they made it so it was magnetic. But I'll show you what I did with mine here in just a second. Okay, so I have the two pretty and peacocks, and these put out really easily. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get them out. So there's the holes in the back, and use the pokey tool or pokey end from your, take your pick. All right, so I have two of those, and I want two of these. This is great. So with the mini, you know that you want to stagger your plates. You don't want them all even. In the standard size, you can have even plates, but in the mini, you want to stagger the plates, and it makes cutting much quicker, much easier. So let's see what we got here. So that was two of the Lost Lagoon. All right, we should be done with the wings, and let's poke these out. I'm just gonna grab my magnetic bowl here so that I don't lose my little dies. All right, here we go. I'm gonna open up my Versa mark again. I'm gonna pick up my branches with my reverse tweezer. I'm just going to drag it across the tips especially, run it through the silver, and we'll heat it up. All right, so there's one. I love this look with the little silver tips on the branches. And I think it would look really cool just to have like a swag with these branches and the little silver tips. I hope you guys are enjoying seeing different ideas with this set as much as I'm enjoying this set. See, look at how cute that is with just a little bit of silver on there. And then the last one here. All right. Now we're really done with the embossing. All right. let us bring in our piece that we embossed. I'm going to take, again, the 2 3/8 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to punch a circle, okay? I'm going to bring in our piece of, this one was the 4 by 5 1/4, and I am going to trim this down. Our blueberry bushel measured 3 7/8, so I really wanted this. I thought it was 4 by 5 1/4, but I really wanted it to be 3 3/4 by 5. So do you remember last week when we made the card, and I'll bring it in before we end, we had the specialty paper in gold that had this, right? So now with what I have done is I've made my own. We just did that process with the silver embossing. And I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensional and just add it to the back. And then we're going to place that. And I'm going to try just to, I'm not going to match up the lines exactly, but I want to make sure that the lines are going in the same direction as our background. Okay, so I put it on dimensionals and added it to the plaid. We don't need to test it. Oh, let's see. All right, no more, no more comments at this point. All right, so now we're going to take our little silver tip, and I'm just going to use my glue press. This is not a Stampin' Up item. It is from my sweet petunia. And I'm just going to add these little silver tip bows. I'll put one color on each side. And I'm just tucking them in underneath the dimensional to get to be like floral arrangers. I always thought that would be a really fun job. All right, there's that. And I'm going to go opposite. So on this side, I have the Lost Lagoon and the pretty peacock. Now I'm going to put the Lost Lagoon on the bottom and the pretty peacock on top, just so they're a little opposite. Maybe this one needs to come up. That's why I like using glue too, is it gets just that quick minute to rearrange. All right, I'm going to bring in our bluebird, and I'm going to put, I guess it would be him because he's so colorful, right? I'm going to add some adhesive to him, her, whatever. Like I said, I don't know my birds all that well. I just know I like them from a distance and not close up. I put a couple of mini dimensionals on these bottom 2 pine boughs here. And now I'm just going to lay this down close to the bottom, like so. And I am going to once again try to move that whole little bunch up, which you saw I could do. All right, let's bring in our card base. Match up my edges here, my bone folder, and just give our score line a good crease. All right. This now is going to get back with the blueberry bushel. And as all that does is it helps our little bird, the colors on our birds pop. Let's see. I had to order some of that paper from last week because I loved what you did with it. Thanks always. Always inspiring me. Oh, you're welcome, Mary. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal And I'm going to just run this lightly along there so I don't want to press too hard and mess up my embossing, right? And I wanted this just to have that eighth of an inch. And that we did last week too. Remember, we were trying to decide white on white or cherry cobbler. So today I went with the blueberry bushel. And now for this one, I am just going to put this down flat on my card base as well. Reason being is we're going to pop up our sentiment, and we're also going to put some of those druzy embellishments on our card too. So now we've got silver. I think it's really pretty. Okay. And then I had a little sentiment pre-stamp here. Here it is. I'm just going to take my snips wherever those went. You guys, I really do have quite a mess in here right now. And those of you who know me know that I'm really not always so messy, but I have had a lot going on in this classroom lately. And I also want to tell you, speaking of a lot going on in the classroom, I will not be live next Saturday. I am going to another stamping class. I must be so smart by the time I'm done with all my stamping classes. But I am going to go to a stamping class in Iowa, which I'm very excited about, and I'm going with a couple of friends who I love dearly. So I will not be live next Saturday. So you saw what I'm doing here. I'm just giving these a cut, and I actually used my ribbon scissors, which is a big no-no, because I could not find what I did with my snips. That's so weird. But anyway, I did it. I'm going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals onto my little thank you sentiment here. And I'm just going to put my little thank you. I'm going to write down here. I want that little pine bough. And I lined it up with my lines on my embossing for my embossed piece. And then here comes those druzy adhesive back embellishments. And this time I'm going to use silver. We've got all the pretty, pretty silver in there. So I'm just going to add the large, small. I'm going to do the rule of three, you guys. And another one down there. Okay? And then, not done, not done. In the sweetest product, we have the natural tones linen thread. So you guys know that I always love me some those. I'm going to take and double up a piece of the blue. And I'm just going to tie a double bow. When you tie a double bow, don't worry that you have that this loop end here, because it's all you have to do is just kind of at an angle cut it and cut it. And then you get this super fun, I think they're funny looking double bow with kind of the wild ends. So if I wanted to, I could add it up here at the top. I could add it down here at the bottom. And I think I have enough stuff at the bottom on this one that I want to add it at the top. And I'll show you my original, or the initial card I made before demonstrating this one to you. And that one I had put down at the bottom. So you get to decide, top or bottom. And each one is really quite good. I suppose I could peel that off there and just dry it down here. It felt like I had a lot at the bottom, but maybe that's just right. Maybe it's just that little bird is trying to grab the string to make a nest. Oh, it's fun. Thank you. It will be fun. It will be fun. Hi, Beth. Looks good. Like the blue. Thanks, Donna. All right. You guys, that's our card for today. So if you are not really into the specialty paper, which I cannot believe that you wouldn't be if you saw it, because it's really, really pretty. But here's another way when you're mass producing cards to make your own little specialty paper, right? All right, you guys. So that means, oh, good morning, Ginger. I'm glad you're here. That means I just have to pop up a calendar that I will be back with you on Saturday, October 26th, for the next episode, which would be episode number 412, on the 26th of October at 9 a.m. So until then, stay well, keep stamping, and remember, you can post your projects over on my Create with Brenda crafters page. You just have to ask to join, and once you join, you can post your cards. And I would absolutely love to see what you are creating too. So until then, have a great weekend. Stay dry. If you have yard work to do like I do, I hope that we get out there to get it done. And I'll see you on the 26th. Bye for now.